Okay. So I think we are officially recording. I want to kind of start off by reviewing a little bit of the night. We're going to have introductions from the people who actually work with the therapy dogs that we've seen throughout the last, like I'd say, week or two on Instagram through our takeovers. We want to hear their stories and introduce you to them. And then we're going to do a live Q&A. So while people are speaking, once you get questions in your head, if anything pops into mind, you can just put them directly in the chat, and then we're going to call them out in the second half. So I would love to start by asking Cole and Chris if they would like to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Hanna, and this is Cole the Deaf Dog. He's been a certified therapy dog for years now. He's a little over 4 years old, and he works in my school with me every day as a therapy dog in my music room. I'm an elementary school music teacher. We're also hospice volunteers, as well as the mascot at a local veterans home that we visit regularly as well.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And then Luna and Laurie, would you like to say hello?
Sure. Nice to see everybody. My name is Laurie Wright, and this is Luna. She's a 4-year-old miniature dachshund. She and I are a registered therapy animal team through Pet Partners. We visit 3 hospitals in our area. We live in Southern California. And we also go into a local library to do reading with the children. And then we also attend an assisted living home.
Thank you. And then Duck and Mary.
Hi, Mary Nicoletti. Duck is curled up beside me. I tried, since I did the backdrop to me to the screen in the back, I can't get him to show up too well, but that is him. He's a 2-year-old Labrador, a Labrador retriever that failed out of, in fact, he's curling up next to me right now, that failed out of duck hunting school. So he had extensive training, and we took, all he wanted was to give attention. So we turned that into a therapy dog. He was donated by a local dog trainer who does amazing work, and realized that he was a natural. So now he works full-time at Lambert High School in Swanee, Georgia, in my special needs classroom. It turned into a huge thing where now we have more dogs, and it's called the Lambert Pack. And my kids have learned so much. We use it as vocational, social skill, emotional support, and it's been amazing. So that's us. He says, hey, from the sofa.
Thanks, Mary. And sorry, Barbara and Carmel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Barb. This is my golden doodle, Carmel, and we are certified with Therapy Dogs International. We visit in elementary school, sometimes also middle and high school. Of course, visits have been virtual for some time, and right now we can go back to visits, but the school is not ready yet. So we're going to venture and actually do some therapy in summer in a retail facility. So with customers and place where people buy and salespeople sell pools and spas. So she'll be giving therapy in that setting.
Thank you, Barb.
Sure.
And then Billy from the Alliance of Therapy Dogs, you have actually a different take than I think everybody else who's spoken so far. So I'd love to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Billy Smith, the Executive Director for Alliance of Therapy Dogs. I've been with them for 29 and a half years. I have had 6 registered therapy dogs. I currently do not have a therapy dog registered because I lost my girl in February, but I'm working with Rat Terrier, which is quite a challenge, I might add. We have everything from a 1-pound Chihuahua to a 280-pound Mastiff that we have registered. We do everything from the schools, the libraries, the nursing homes, the hospitals, the airports, the court dogs. My gosh, you name it, we do it. We also have an insurance policy now that will cover our members when they take their dogs to work. So they are registered with Alliance for their insurance to cover them while they're doing their volunteering. And then if they choose to take their dogs to work, then we have another policy for them to apply for to take that. So we have a registration process that is a test and 3 observations. You do the test first. If you pass that, you do your observations, which are sort of like on the job training. So once you've passed the test and the 3 observations, test is good basic obedience test. No jumping, no pawing, no licking, no dog aggression, all those good types of things. We do not require a CGC yet. And we have an annual review. We have 2 renewal dates, January and July. And those renewals are met with a member review and updated information from your veterinarian for your dog and your annual fees. So we have about 15,500 members right now nationwide, Puerto Rico and Canada. We unfortunately have lost approximately 2,500 members during COVID. So we had members that stayed very active through COVID, doing the virtual visits, doing the window visits at the nursing homes, doing pet parades. They were so creative. I was so very proud of them. They really did a great job during COVID. And slowly but surely things are starting to open up. I think we've got 73 airports in the US that have therapy dogs. And right now I think there's only 8 to my knowledge. So we have therapydogs.com is our website. And you can go out there and find answers to just about any question you have, but I'm happy to answer any question you have too.
Thank you very much, Billy.
You bet.
So one thing I forgot that I wanted to do before introductions was our first prize of the night. So if you've come to a Dog Spotted event before, you will note the wheel. We always put everybody who RSVP'd for an event into this like super fun wheel that I'm going to share my screen for. And then afterwards, we make sure that whoever won was present here at the event. So we are super excited. Let me share the screen now so you can see that if you've never been to an event before. Da, da, da. 1 second. I can never find the share screen button and it's bright green. So that's fun. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. So I'm going to spin the wheel. This is for Farm Hounds. It's a $50 gift card to Farm Hounds, and they're not going to be here at the event today. So I'm going to share the link to their website so you can learn all about them from that. But right now, I'm going to spin the wheel. So Shauna, if you are here, Shauna, congratulations. Let me write that down. Okay. And then the rest, I think we have 4 more prizes tonight, and we're going to do them at the end of the night, and they will have people from the companies here to speak a little bit more to them. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we can start jumping into questions. So just sorry about that. So we got a few questions on Instagram, and then again, I want to just mention that if you have questions live about anything you just heard, feel free to put them in the chat and we will ask them live. I actually have a question that I had during Billy's introduction. Billy, can you tell us what CGC is and why it would be a requirement to be a therapy dog?
The CGC is the Canine Good Citizen. There are therapy dog organizations that do require a CGC. Alliance of Therapy Dogs does not. But we always encourage anyone to go ahead and do your basic obedience, go ahead and get a CGC. There are therapy dog titles that you can work towards once you do get your dog registered. And that's a fairly new thing. I think that's been out there maybe about 5 years for the therapy dog titles. So my girl that I had her all the way up to the distinguished, which is 400 visits or more. So CGC is a great thing to have, but not all organizations require it.
Thank you. And that kind of lends itself to another question that we got on Instagram earlier this week, which was, if you are interested in having your dog become a therapy dog, what would you suggest as step one, whether it be a resource, whether it be a to-do? If each of you want to maybe speak to your own experience and how you got started, I think that could be helpful.
Do you want me to go?
Sure.
You want Billy? Well, actually, I started with a Doberman pincer, and I went into, because she was a very shy girl, I went in to do protection training with her and to try to bring her out of her shell. So the trainer that I had informed me that the dog was good for nothing but therapy work. And I had not a clue what that meant or what it was at that time. So we did our good basic obedience. We did our tests and our observations for Alliance. And I found out in short order exactly why he felt that she was meant to do therapy work. So my dog is the one who really got me into it. Not all dogs are into therapy work. Sometimes the handler is just so anxious for that dog to be a therapy dog, and the dog just doesn't want to really cooperate. So I've been very fortunate in having 6 dogs that I have had registered through the years, but I did have one that told me no, he just didn't want to do it. So you really want to start with your good basic obedience skills. I don't care what you do with your dog, whether it's therapy work, whether it's competition in AKC, different things. I don't care what you do with your dog. Even if it's just your pet at home, everybody needs to do good basic obedience training and get started with that.
Thank you, Billy.
I'll add something.
Great.
I agree 100% with what Billy said. That's how we got started, just simple obedience classes. I had no intention of training her to be a therapy dog, but it was the trainer who pulled me aside and said, she would be an amazing therapy dog. You should continue with her training. So when we got to the advanced level of training, that was pointing us towards getting the CGC title, which right after that, I mean, you're pretty much primed to pass an evaluation with your dog through the therapy animal organization. So similarly, that was our path. And I wouldn't have thought that, because I've had dachshunds for a long time, over 30 years, I would never have thought that a dachshund would be good for a therapy dog, because they're so easily excitable, but she tends to have a very calm nature. She's just lying here. This is what she's like all the time. And I mean, if I can share her with somebody else, I think the surprise for me in doing therapy animal work was, well, what do I do? I know what she has to do, but how do I prepare to take her on visits? And that was something that I had to learn. So.
If I can add to this, I think we have similar experiences. I never thought about having a therapy dog, training for therapy at all. We got a dog, and just for the family, and we just couldn't walk Carmel. She was about 6 months old. She became extremely strong. She's a standard size golden doodle. I never had standard size golden doodle. I never had a golden doodle before. So it was totally new to me that she's pulling so extremely hard. So it started with getting a trainer who would help us in walking my dog, basically. And then the trainer says, well, why don't you come and have some obedience training? Your dog will be so much better. And that's what we started with. And during the training, she says, by the way, I think she'll be an awesome therapy dog. She loves people. She likes to interact. So it was from never thinking about it to these kind of ideas and steps. And I think that those trainers, sometimes they can maybe not push us in certain directions, but they can suggest, because they certainly know a lot about dogs. So that's similar pathway I think we had, yeah.
I'm nodding my head as well, that we were actually guided. Obviously, I was researching for a therapy dog for my special needs classroom, and he was picked by a trainer because he wasn't good at his previous job. And then we did obedience, and I agree. I just high five it. I'm shaking my head. Yes, obedience is essential for every. It is amazing. If I have one more person on an extend a leash, let their dog run up and say he's friendly, and so those, it drives me nuts. But those kind of basic things to learn, I want to call it etiquette.
Right.
We learn in obedience classes and things like that leads right into being a good therapy dog. And also someone said, I think it was Billy, not all dogs are meant to be therapy dogs. And that's been interesting. The trainer had said that, and I've heard that over and over again. So I hear commonality in trainers identifying potential therapy dogs.
I want to say, if I can,
Go
like
ahead.
my experience sounds a little bit different as far as my pursuing therapy work with Cole. As an elementary school music teacher, I was showing pictures of Cole before he even came home. There was about a week before we picked him up from the rescue. He was about 4.5 months old. So my students started to get really excited, and my principal would ask if, like on a Friday afternoon, if I would bring Cole in. And I noticed something really special about the way he interacted with children. So I knew kind of the opposite. I knew right away that that's the avenue we wanted to take. As a lot of us would probably know, especially in Mr. Grumbles, in school settings, I truly believe that school setting therapy dogs are a whole different realm, just because of the external stimuli that can take place, especially with lots of little hands. I have 24, 25 children in my classroom at any given moment. So it's a little different than when you're walking into a room and there's one elderly person in the, in a bed or something like that. So it's a little bit different. And I think it takes a very special type of dog and a special type of mentality and disposition from that dog to not just to do well with it, but to thrive at it as well. Cole has a very keen sense about him, and he actually thrives the more that he is with his people, as we call them at school, or with the people that we visit. So the more work that we do, the happier he tends to be.
Right. And I'd like to say that you do need to pay attention to what your dog wants, because not every dog is suited for children. They may be okay with them, but they're not really excited to be there with them. I have a little 5-pound Papillon that wasn't raised with children, so she's a little intimidated by them, and she wasn't really excited about school. But my Doberman, on the other hand, absolutely loved the kids. So you have to pay attention. What might be a suitable venue for you might not be a suitable venue for your dog, and vice versa. So if you have an example I have is a 180-pound Rottweiler in a nursing home that was very antsy and probably not the right place for that particular dog to be, because he could knock a little old person over. But a reading program would be a perfect place for that dog to be, because he loved to lay down. He loved everybody to rub on him and love on him. A reading program would have been great for him because he loved kids. So pay attention to what it is that you're looking at doing with your dog, and make sure that it's comfortable in that situation. And some dogs do everything. They don't really care. So
I'm trying. I have a 10-month-old puppy that I've been working with to train as a therapy dog. I don't know if he will be good at it. I don't know what it will be like, but I'm still training him nevertheless. And if he doesn't make it, I just have a really sweet, well-trained dog, and that's okay with me. So we'll see.
That's a great outlook. We have a question from Danielle, and I think, Billy, you might be the expert on this. Is there a cap aged where a dog can no longer be considered as a therapy dog?
I really wish there was. And this is my reasoning for that. We do not, Alliance does not have, no, I don't know if Pet Partners or TDI has a cap. So I can speak only from the Alliance end of it. But I really like to guide people who want to come in with an older dog. I've seen dogs come in at from 12 to 17 years old that people have decided that they wanted to bring in to do therapy work. That's not a good age to start doing therapy work, because the dog can't speak for itself. So the other thing that you need to be concerned about when you're looking at an older dog is the risk. I'm always looking at insurance risk. Okay, so the dog can't tell you where it might have an ache or a pain or a sore spot that might get rubbed and might get hit just wrong, and it's going to cause a reaction from the dog. So dogs age just like people do. I mean, I have a 15-and-a-half-year-old Papillon that is still just ready to go. But at 13, she told me no, she was done doing therapy work. She'd done therapy work for 12 years. And one day she just really didn't want to do it anymore. So you really have to pay attention to, you know, do you really want to take your little geriatric dog out there and you know, put it at risk of being rubbed the wrong way or having a wheelchair roll over its toe or what, you know, I mean, there's a lot of risk in an older dog. The younger dogs, sometimes they're too hyper. You know, sometimes they're not quite settled yet. Sometimes you have to wait until they're 2 or 3 years old, and then they're good to go. If you've got a dog that you've been doing therapy work with for 10 years, be sure to start watching for retirement. Is it time to retire the dog? Is it time, you know, is the dog still really into the visits? Is it really not into the visits anymore? Is it just going because it wants to make you happy? Again, you just have to really pay attention to the dog. But we don't have a maximum age. I ask my board of directors every year to discuss that at the board meeting, and we still haven't come to an age. But we don't start until a year. And some organizations don't start until 2.
Okay, that was actually one of the other questions we got online, so thank you.
Yes.
And then Becky also asked a question, how do you decide which organization is right for you to join? So I think there are a few different ones here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Luna and Laurie, you're in Pet Partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you come to that decision?
To be honest, she actually tested through a different organization and didn't pass. And so there was just something in that evaluation that she wouldn't do. And so I started looking for another organization, and I found Pet Partners, and I kind of worked with her to be able to pass, and it was not a problem. She passed on the first time. So I mean, Pet Partners is fantastic. I'm grateful that we're with them, but I'm sure there are other organizations that are good as well. It just happened that she passed their evaluation. So
I think we're all out there for the common good. The 3 nationals are Alliance and Pet Partners and TDI. And the only difference in the organizations is the registration process. Pet Partners has a whole different process than what Alliance has. TDI has a different process. The other difference in the organizations is the amount of insurance that they carry. So to my knowledge right now, Alliance does have the highest insurance policy out there, and we do also have the additional work policy. But I believe that Pet Partners also has a policy now for their teams that want to take their dogs to work. So it's just a matter of, and sometimes it's the region that you're in. TDI is very popular. TDI is based out of New Jersey. So of course they're on that end of the country, you know, and they're pretty well known, you know, in that particular area. Pet Partners is out in Washington State, so they're well known out in that particular area. So it sort of has, you know, and we're Alliance is out here in Podunk, Cheyenne, Wyoming. I don't know what the deal is with that, but anyway, we have, you know, so we're all nationwide. I don't know if the others are Puerto Rico and Canada, but we're all nationwide. So sometimes it also depends upon a facility that you might want to get into. Sometimes facilities will decide that they only want to deal with one organization, or they only want to deal with one insurance policy. And they really don't need to be concerned about what the insurance policy covers. They just need to be concerned about the fact that the person has insurance through a national. It's up to each member of each organization to know what their rules, regs, and policies are, and for them to follow them. So there are a lot of different things that make you choose. Some people want to go alliances, good basic obedience skills. We don't put a lot of emphasis on, we do put emphasis on obedience, but we don't put emphasis on advanced obedience, like we don't require the CGC. But if you feel like you need more obedience type training and you want to go into another area that you feel more comfortable, and that other organization offers more of that, then you might choose that. I really strongly suggest that if you're getting started, just look at all three and really, decide which one suits you best, whether it's the area, the facility, the testing.
Great.
Just look at them and make sure you know. And if you have
We
questions,
I wrote
by
them
all
all
means,
down
call
in
them.
chat.
We actually
I wrote
ran
them all in
into,
chat, the names. Sorry.
we're certified through Bright and Beautiful. We actually ran into a few issues when we were looking for a therapy dog company, that we chose Bright and Beautiful basically because a local chapter was doing reading dog programs, which is kind of where we started with Cole. But we actually had some roadblocks because of Cole's deafness. And when we had contacted certain national organizations, there was it was almost like we were pulling teeth at points just to get him evaluated. He nailed it the first try. Everything was fine. He had his CGC, like everything was great. So our journey became a little difficult initially, and I think that's gotten better now. I think part of it was breed related at times, from comments that were made and things that were said in trying to just get an evaluation of his skill set. And it was something we kind of had to battle with, and we've been really fortunate. I think we made the right decision going where we're going. And then we also, with our work in school every day, we carry a private policy or a rider on our own as well. So we are protected through our Bright and Beautiful, but we're also protected individually too, because we go out in schools. We do school assemblies all the time in the whole region, the tri-state area. And we have the $2 million rider insurance policy that we pay for on our own, outside of it, just as that realm. And it really does help when you're going into particular facilities. There's even a university here, not far from where we are, that had developed, and it got a huge inheritance essentially from an estate. And part of what we faced when we tried to work with them was Cole's breed became a roadblock, and we were unable to work with this particular university's program because of the fact that Cole is a pit bull. And that is something that we've had to face a lot. We've had certain ones because he was deaf or because he was a pit bull. So it's just something else to kind of think about and really research that, depending on, your animal. I'm obviously a proponent for taking special needs dogs and making them therapy dogs. We're actually adopting an 8-week-old deaf puppy as well. Cece comes home next week. So we're super excited to develop our program even further with special needs dogs, especially with the pit bull breeds. So that's just something else, another aspect to kind of think about, look into, and talk to people.
Right.
If there's an event and you see somebody from TDI or from Bright and Beautiful or wherever, speak with them, speak to them about, their personal experiences within an organization, because they're nationwide. There are varying degrees of, the way that it's handled and the way they look at things. They have the policies as a blanket policy, but, as far as maybe that a particular organization wouldn't be the right fit for you, but maybe another one would be. you know, we had a lot of roadblocks when we were on Good Morning America, where we were attacked by an anti-pit bull group from the entire country, and they contacted our therapy dog company and they tried to get our license and revoked because it's just an anti-pit bull group, and they wrote 2,000 emails to my school district and my superintendent and my entire board of education and every employee in my school district with pictures of children that were attacked by dogs, and it was crazy. But Bright and Beautiful, they called us, and I was petrified that these people really got into their minds, and they were so amazingly supportive of us. And, you know, that organization really won our hearts over because they were there during such a challenging time for us, during such positive yet negative publicity from these people in this organization. So it was, we know that was an amazing choice that we went with the organization we did, because maybe we wouldn't have had that kind of support elsewhere. Maybe we would have, we don't know. So I really recommend looking into and talking to members and getting to know them and the chapters. And is there a group within the chapters that you would want to work with? And maybe you're really interested in a specific, you know, avenue that you want to take, whether it's reading programs in libraries or school visits or, you know, so many different things, obviously. So it's just a different idea and a different aspect to think about.
Right. That's true, Chris. And there are organizations who will not take the breeds that are considered the dangerous breeds, you know, the pit bulls, the Dobermans, the German Shepherds, and so forth. Sometimes that has to do with their insurance policy. Alliance is not breed specific, and Alliance also does special needs dogs. I had a deaf Doberman. We have many deaf, blind, and also the paralyzed dogs with wheelchairs. Those are things. If you're working with a special needs dog, Chris is correct. You need to look and see which organizations are going to support you with those. Some of them, we do ours on an exceptions basis. And anytime we make an exception for that, then our insurance will definitely cover that team while they're out there working. So some organizations are breed specific and some are not. And sometimes it doesn't depend on, as far as breed specific, that might not depend on the organization, but on the facility that you go to. Like Chris had, trouble getting into a university. That's pretty common because of the bad rap that certain breeds get. So even though you might be able to get registered with an organization that is acceptable and accepting you in there, then you still might have some roadblocks out there when you start visiting, trying to get them into the facilities. We've had that battle on my end where we've tried to help our teams get into a facility, but they're just, they've just kind of put their foot down and said, no, we aren't going to take any pit bulls in, So you do want to make sure that you ask a lot of questions. I mean, there's a lot of things to check out when you're looking at getting started.
Thank you. Can you just clarify or confirm, when you say teams, is it a dog and a human, or is it multiple dogs? And okay, thank you.
It is, yeah. Alliance, and I'm pretty sure that Pet Partners and TI and Bright and Beautiful as well. I'm pretty sure that they all also cover the team. So if I were to go in with my therapy dog and my therapy dog were to nip someone or cause a claim, we would turn that claim into Alliance, and ours is a primary policy, so Alliance would always take care of that claim first. If I was in a patient's room or I did something that I caused a claim, be it trip and fall on one of them, trip and fall on somebody, or just negligent in some manner, then Alliance's insurance is also going to cover that. So they are covered as a team. Most volunteer programs, and that's sometimes you'll be volunteering for maybe a hospital program, and they will tell you that you're covered under their insurance, when in reality you are really not covered under their insurance as a team. You, the human, The handler is covered under their volunteer policy through the hospital's liability, but your dog is not. So that's the reason that you want to get registered with a national, so that you are covered as a team.
And with, at least I can only speak towards pet partners, but it's possible for your dog to pass the evaluation and you not, which means that
Absolutely.
you wouldn't be able to pass as a team. You both
Yep.
have to pass. It's
Yep.
about working with your dog, reading your dog knowing you. It's that relationship and that bond that you're fostering, and you have to pass together. So
That's exactly right. Yes. And all of the organizations will look at you as a team. The person and the handler and the dog both have to be acceptable, you know, and honestly, we have had handlers that didn't make it. So the dog was okay, but the handler wasn't. That's a tough one. I hate those. But yes, that's where the team is.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And then a question that we received was also for school-specific experiences and how COVID has impacted that, or what the evolution has looked like. I think most specifically recently, if you see like a light at the end of the tunnel, or if you're seeing shifts in how you're allowed to interact with either the youth or with the staff at this point, knowing that the vaccines are out. So Mary or Chris, if you'd want to speak to that.
We are face-to-face. We've been face-to-face since the beginning of the year, but masks are mandated. Now we were virtual and face-to-face. So we were doing both for a while. So that did create a lot of chaos. As far as the dogs and having the therapy dogs, it eased a great deal of transition back into the school system by relieving some stress, providing a smile. We did have to monitor, it was careful with crowds around the dog, not necessarily because he's not used to it, but because of COVID. So we had to monitor, whereas previously last year, he could hang out in the hallway if I was standing out there and watching him and greeting the kids. Well, we then had to consider when they crowd around the dog. Because then it's social distancing is not at a concern. Also brought up was hand sanitizer. We actually carried hand sanitizer and sanitized each child's hands before and after. So, but that's eased up a little as time's gone on. Now masks are still there. Social distancing is still an issue that is addressed. But you know, we can also go outside and that helps as well. But as far as the emotionalities, it helped a great deal. And the kids would actually voice that. Being in high school, they would often say how lucky they were to see the dogs. So the emotional component should not be forgotten either.
Yeah,
Chris
I
probably
think
has something to say as well.
Yeah, one of the biggest things when COVID first shut down, I was actually in orientation talking about it. Because I see 600 kids a year. Being a music teacher, I see the entire school population from kindergarten to 5th grade. As the kids are sitting on my floor, the very last day before we shut down here in New Jersey, I had a student picking fur up off of my floor, and cold sheds very, very little, but he was picking fur up and he was putting it in his pocket on his shirt. So I pulled him aside afterwards and I asked him, I said, Daniel, you know, how come I saw you, picking Cole's fur up? And he said, I need to make sure I take a piece of him home with me because I'm not going to see him for a while. So it showed like the emotional support that he was going to give the students during such a tragic time. I promised the students at that point that I will find a way during COVID. So we actually did drive-by visits. My truck is fully wrapped with Cole's pictures on it. We're so graciously donated by Designer Wraps, but we would spend 3 hours once a week driving the entire area of neighborhoods with Cole sitting in the passenger seat with his front paw sticking out the window. And the kids would make signs. They'd be sitting on their front porches. They'd be sitting in their driveways. And we could drive by, they'd beep, the kids run up, see Cole from a distance, wave at him. But it gave their families and themselves something really, really concrete that they knew was going to happen in the time of uncertainty. When we opened it back up and we've been bouncing back and forth between virtual and in person. It's kind of been integral. He's on the morning announcements every morning with the kids, because it's a reminder for them. It's a reminder of hope that the light is at the end of the tunnel. We've had Cole in my classroom when I'm teaching virtually. Cole has his own computer that my school bought, that we put up a webcam. So he's literally sitting next to me while I'm teaching virtual, but he has his webcam. So he has his own spot on Zoom, just like the rest of the kids, just like me. So again, it's just that reminder. And I think during COVID, therapy dogs were so helpful in school settings, because it's the one thing that a lot of the students had that was solidified. It wasn't going anywhere, and it was going to stick with them one way or another. And we were just super lucky to be able to do the things that we did, to reach the kids at a time when they needed it the most. So I'm sure Mary can tell you the same thing. It was just an amazing experience. And then once the kids got to come back, they were chomping at the bit to get off the school bus, because there's Cole waiting at the doors to get pet and to start their days off and to escort them to class or whatever. So, I'm obviously a proponent for therapy dogs in school full time. So
Me too. I think it provided a home aspect, a homey. I don't know, a comfort that, and Chris and I have mentioned that before, that the full-time therapy dog in a school is an untapped resource. We didn't go as far, but we both, I don't mean to speak for Chris, but we were both saying kind of the same thing, that it provides a whole nother level of support that's day to day, and the sheer comfort of them snoring in the corner while you're teaching, just as simple as that. And then of course the interactions and the day to day, the lessons and the visits, and that's just on top of it. So it's been a huge thing because of COVID. That was actually one of several administrators had said, how crazy is it that we got him in the year before, and then boom, we had, 2 months later we went on lockdown. So we too did visits, and that was some normalcy that the whole school could tie in with the dog. That was a happy spot. So it's been amazing.
I think that's very true. I think that the reading programs and the school programs, I think those were the ones that really were the easiest to do the virtual visits for. And they really did make an impact for the kids. We had teams that actually had a website that was set up, and the parents could go in and schedule visits, for the kids. And that was the normalcy was there. They weren't able to pet the dog, but at least they could still see them, and at least they could still do their readings. So I think that was what the best thing about the virtual, when we went to the virtual visits. They seemed to really work out well for the kids.
So if I can add to this, what we did, again, everything was virtual, and it really mattered if you could collaborate with the teacher who would also be willing to, work out with the technology and things like that. It wasn't always easy to connect. But what we did, number one, was I ordered those outlines, standees, the cardboard outlines of Carmel, so they could be placed in the main office, in some classrooms. The kids saw her, and they even, it was really funny because some of the children were asking the teacher, does Carmel belong to the school? Like, she's a school therapy dog. That the school owns Carmel. It was really funny. So we had to explain that. I created all kinds of videos of Carmel using those applications where you can make your pet talk. That was funny. And during the virtual visits, with especially second graders, they were great because they were different than classroom visits. During them, kids could ask all kinds of questions. So we were talking about Carmel's agility training and what she does and what she eats. Things like that were not happening when we were doing face-to-face visits. So it was just a totally different level of connection in terms of knowledge and asking questions, and me sort of telling children all kinds of things about dogs, even teaching them without them knowing that I was really teaching them something. It was just like that, you know, how you learn in conversations, right? So it was really even hard to like part at the end because they always had more and more questions. And it was amazing. I thought they would have questions and then maybe next time we wouldn't know what to really even talk about. But there were so many questions. Then I wrote a book about our journey to therapy. I self-published this, and the principal actually decided to get some copies and gift them to the children, to those second graders who never met Carmel in person. And it was just so cool. And they know that I have to sign the books and that they'll be sent to school. So here again, they were talking about, how did you publish the book? How did you write? Are you an author? What is this book about? Well, I have to quick show you. It is actually a real thing. So there was all the conversations about how you do this, how you can write the book. So I think an amazing level. So I'm thinking this virtual visit can maybe even stay sometimes and can be still used. We don't have to only go back and do physical therapy, meaning in person, which these are the best, definitely. But there is some value in virtual connection too, totally different one maybe, and it can supplement the in-person visit probably. And we hope to be able to come back still in the spring, maybe outside for now. So I already connected with the principal and we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Incredible. Congrats on your book. And there have been a few
Thank you.
chapters. So we're going to transition now. I want to thank Chris, Laurie, Mary, Billy, and Barb for coming here and telling us about your story and being open to answering questions kind of off the bat like this. And then with that, we're going to do a few more giveaways tonight, but I also wanted to give the floor. So one of our community members, Yolanta, is having an event also, I think it's tomorrow. And I wanted to give her the floor to just speak to that because she's incredible and her dog Cody is incredible.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you. Thank you so much to Dog Spotted. You guys are such huge supporters of everything that I'm doing, and I love giving that support back. I got involved with Dog Spotted since in the beginning last year, and everything that we've partnered on together has been beautiful. So thank you so much for hosting this event tonight, because even though I can't, Cody is a reactive dog. He can't be a therapy dog, but I'm still fascinated by everything that everyone else is doing. And this is what I love about Dog Spotted, bringing the community together. And I do that too through my virtual events. And I'm celebrating Cody's birthday tomorrow, and he's turning 3. And I've been promoting it all month long because I'm raising money for Near and Far Animal Foundation, which is basically a rescue organization that helps animals in South America, as well as in the United States, in impoverished areas, or just, where there are limited resources. So it's a wonderful organization. They just started last year, and I want to do everything I can to support them. And tomorrow's event is going to be fantastic. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for anyone who wants to join. We're going to have crazy giveaways from 6 different sponsors. It's going to be amazing. So I'm going to drop the link in there. Thank you so much, Sarah. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow night.
See you there. So thank you again for everybody who has been here. And then I want to give the floor now to, if Stephanie is here from Instinct Pet
Hi,
Foods.
yep, I'm here.
Hey. So I'm actually going to allow you to share your screen so you can share with everybody a little bit more.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's still telling. There we go. Okay, so first off, thank you everyone so much for letting me join in tonight and just share a little bit about Instinct. I'm Steph, I'm a certified veterinary technician, and I am on the training and education team. And with Instinct, our purpose is to empower people to transform the lives of pets. And this is such a near and dear statement to all of us at Instinct, but our 4-legged companions really do so much for us every day, and we all want to make sure we're impacting their lives as well. So at Instinct, we do believe that the best way to most directly transform the lives of pets is through the food that we're feeding them. We've always been rooted in raw nutrition, and your pet's health matters. And our recipes are going to provide tailored, proactive nutrition to help them continue to thrive. Food and how it's made, less processed, real, whole food ingredients have the power to transform lives. And we believe that raw food provides absolutely unmatched nutrition, which is why we incorporate raw into all of the foods that we make, from frozen to freeze-dried raw recipes to kibble plus options that are simple and convenient for every pet parent to go ahead and try. And we proudly make all of our raw recipes in Lincoln, Nebraska at the highest quality and safety standards. We believe in raw nutrition and the science behind our raw. Our team has experts with decades of experience in pet food and private practice, and they range from food science PhDs to board certified veterinary nutritionists. So nutrition science is really guiding our recipes, and we're infusing those recipes with the latest science so that we can continue to transform the lives of pets. We also have several university partners around the globe that are committed to the science of raw, and we've shared some of their astonishing research findings on our Science of Raw page, which you can find at instinctpetfood.com/research. And I just want to thank you again so much for letting me hop on tonight and share a little bit about Instinct really quickly. Thank you so much for joining in to learn more about therapy dogs. And please do remember to give us a follow on social. We're super active on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And with that, I can go ahead and turn it back over.
Thanks, Steph. And if you want to put that link in the chat, that would be great for everybody. And that also goes for one thing I lost track of, but I wanted to ask anybody who does therapy dog work, if there are any resources that you have found valuable in your journey and your experience, if you want to just jot down those names in chat, that could be very helpful for anybody who's thinking of exploring the process themselves. So with that, thank you, Steph. I'm going to now share my screen. Oh, give me one sec. Steph, I actually made you the host. If you can switch that back to me, that'd be great. And then I'm going to do the wheel again that we did from the beginning.
How do I switch you back to host?
Oh, great question. If you click my name, there should be an option. If you click more. If not, I will give everybody a word by word like understanding of what's happening on the wheel. I'll like say it as it goes.
I got it. There you go.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So sharing my screen. Actually, I have to transition the tab. Can you see the wheel tab or am I still on?
Yes, you're
okay.
good.
Sweet. All right. So Steph, can you tell us what the prize is?
Absolutely. So the prize is going to be our Raw Boost mixers, which are a freeze-dried raw treat or a topper. So they're a fantastic high-value treat, or you can use them on top of any meal that you're currently feeding to your pets.
Awesome. So congratulations, Lingo, if you are here. If not, we will respin offline to make sure that one of you gets it. So congrats, Lingo. Okay. And then we have two more prizes tonight, one of which is from Dog Mom Babe from Jenny. I don't know if she is here. If you are here, can you unmute yourself and speak to your brand a little bit? I'm going to take that as a no. So Dog Mom Babe is actually new on our shop small page on Dog Spotted. So if you haven't seen our shop small page, it has a whole bunch of discount codes from some of our partners. And she just recently started working with us, and whoever wins her prize is going to get a sweatshirt from her apparel line. So I'll send the Instagram link after so you can see a little bit more of the merch. But for now, I'll spin the wheel. Brittany. So Brittany Simone, if you are here, congratulations. And then also, if anybody has hasn't heard of our shop small page and wants to get access to the discount codes, you can go to Dog Spotted and sign up, and you'll get like everything's like 15 to 25. I think Karishma, if you're looking into dog training, we do have a dog training partner who does 50% off. I think the first moment, what is it called? The first session, sorry. And that is like a really cool one. Okay, and then lastly, we have Paws Kitchen, which Katrina, are you here? Do you want to speak to the brand at all? Okay, so Paws Kitchen is giving away different treats. It is the chicken pot pie biscuits that they make. And again, once I'm done sharing the wheel, I'll share the actual link so whoever wins knows exactly what they want. Delilah Cutler. Congratulations, Delilah. And then I do believe Nicole is here from P.L.A.Y San Francisco. Are you here, Nicole?
Yeah. Yes. Hi. Sorry.
Fabulous. Oh, you've been here the whole time. Love it. Okay. So do you want to talk a bit about P.L.A.Y?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me here. This was great. I'm hoping to adopt a dog soon and would love for it to be a therapy dog one day. So this was really useful information. So thank you. But yeah, my name is Nicole and I am the social media specialist at P.L.A.Y Pet Lifestyle and You. So we provide quality pet beds and toys and accessories, and we really focus on creating products that help pets, people, on the planet. And so one of our values is that we want to limit our impact that we have on the earth. And so all of our plush toys and beds are actually filled with our Planet Fill filler, which is made from 100% post-consumer certified recycled bottles. And so far we've recycled over 11 million. So that's something that is really amazing and I'm really proud to be a part of. And so I just wanted to share that little fun fact. And for the giveaway, actually, we are giving away our Barking Brunch collection. It's one of my favorites. So it's a plush toy collection that features, all of the brunch favorites that we love. So an avocado toast, chicken and waffles, a Bloody Mary, eggs Benedict, and a croissant. And all of these are packed with really fun features. They crinkle, squeak. The eggs Benedict actually comes apart, so your dog can feel like they're destroying the toy without destroying the toy, which is really great. And then also, as just a fun little bonus for everybody who is here, I created a 20% off code. It's dog spotted for our website. That will be good through the end of June. And I'll share that in the chat as well.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And I looked at a picture right before we got on this call and they're so cute. They're the most adorable stuffies like in the world. Okay, so I'm gonna spin the wheel. Sarah Bryson, congrats, Sarah, if you are here. Okay. Thank you, Nicole. And that is all of our giveaways for the night. And I thank everybody for staying. Let me stop sharing the screen so we can see everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, whether you were an expert in speaking to your experience, whether you are a vendor and speaking to your product, whether you are a new or old community member. Thank you so much for being here. This was absolutely fantastic. For anybody who is looking for the links that were shared today, I'm going to save a transcript of this chat and I'll email everybody after the fact with the information. With that being said, I'm going to ask Jamie if she's still here, if there's anything she'd like to add. But besides that, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
Hi, sorry, I was transcribing.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. This has been so fun. I learned so much. Like, I gotta say, I really didn't know that much before, which I purposely did because I wanted a fresh, clean slate, and I learned so much. So thank you to all the panelists. I learned so much, and I hope everyone here did too. And thank you everyone who came and spent their Friday night with us. Again, for those that weren't here, we have our next one on Instagram. So don't have to even open your computer. You can watch TV while you're doing it. And we're gonna have some special need dogs talking about their experience of taking care of a dog. Because I know for me, like I always thought, oh, it'd be a lot of work. And that's what people always think. But they really showcase how rewarding and amazing it is. And as we learn, they can also be therapy dogs. So some therapy dogs are coming, Snar, which is a special needs rescue, and Go Wild Hearts. They're very cool. So you can sign up on Instagram on the Beacons link. You'll find it there for the Specially Abled event. And it's because on Monday, it is National Specially Abled Pets Day, just like how today was Therapy Dog Day. We love a good dog holiday. So again, thank you so much for all coming. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you.
Happy Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Cornwell.